Hey darlings, and welcome back to my channel. I am checking in first because I think we all know, because the world is literally crashing. I'm joking, but it's kind of crazy out here. I definitely want to check in with you guys, see how you guys are doing. Comment below how you're doing. So that's first things first. Second thing is that I have really been thinking about you guys. I've been thinking about especially you guys who are in school. I really want to know how you guys are doing because I did not take a online class not once for speech, and I cannot imagine learning that material online. And then I can't also imagine being a second year grad student and at this point in the year really kind of stopping your process. So I know that around this time you were probably going out and in your field experience and doing hands-on type of application learning, and that might have come to a halt right now. I also know this is prime time. This is prime time in the school year, like in grad school, especially second year grad students. Graduation's around the corner and you are ready to secure a job. And right about now is when interviews, and realistically you can begin interviewing and securing that job and your plans and your CF, getting you all set up for after graduation. Although times really do look bleak, there is a level of uncertainty right now. I do want to come on and say you are still going to graduate, period, and you are still going to need a job, right? That doesn't change. And so you can still be conducting interviews and engaging in interviews, participating in interviews, online, Zoom calls, all types of things that you can be doing to make sure you secure that bag after graduation. This video is going to be 5 things that you need to be asking your CF supervisor. So once you have gotten that job, once you are in that interview process, anytime in that process, these are questions that you need to be asking. There are 5 questions that I came up with that I think are important to ask. I think these questions can be asked at any point in the interview / conversation with your CF supervisor process. So I came up with 5 things, and I really wanted to come up with these questions for you because I want to encourage you that no matter what it looks like right now, there is something on the other side of this and you still need to be prepared. So let's prep for it. We don't know when it's coming, but let's make sure we have our questions ready. Let's make sure that when we get into that position, we know exactly what we're walking into, right? The first thing that has come to mind when I think, what questions should you ask a CF supervisor? Or what questions should you ask in the interview? You need to ask if they're gonna provide you with a CF supervisor. Like that's question 0. Like, do you guys have somebody who can supervise me and be my supervisor for this next 36-week period? When you talk to your CF supervisor, when you are asking them questions, one of the questions needs to be, what's your ASHA number? What's your ASHA number? Let me go look it up. Like you go to asha.org and you make sure that they are ASHA certified. If you want your C's, to make sure your CF supervisor is ASHA certified and that their membership is up to date. Number 2, and some of my questions have 2 parts, but number 2 is, will I be your only CF mentee? I don't remember whether you can have more than one or not. I think you can. And that is something I definitely asked my CF supervisor at the time. I was like, hey, is it just me? And she was like, it's just you, girl. And I was like, ooh, thank you, Jesus, because I'm gonna need you. You really wanna make sure that you're getting the time that you need, because this is the last opportunity that you have to really be under somebody. But this is your last learning, formalized type of learning opportunity. So you really wanna make sure you are getting everything out of it. And the second part was, how long have you done this? Have you been a CF supervisor before? How many have you had before? Anything like that. It would give anybody a better feeling if this wasn't your supervisor's first time supervising a CF. However, there are requirements to CF supervisors So just know that even if you're the first one, it's okay. Like, they already have to have a certain level of expertise. They already have to have a certain amount of experience. They have to go through, you know, some trainings themselves. So it can still be okay. Don't let that worry you, but that's still a question that I would ask. The third question is, how often will we communicate? How often do we sit down together, go over some things? You know, how often do I get to meet with you? How often do we have phone conversations? Whatever it is, how often are you communicating? I communicated with my CF supervisor a lot. So I have another video that is called 5 Things Nobody Tells You About Your CF. Definitely go watch that. I mentioned in that video that she used to tear my reports up. It used to be like red, comment, strike, like all of that. It really made me a better therapist, but we talked a lot. What is their expectation of communication with you and their expectation of you? That is something that you need to ask. And number 4 is an interview question. And that question is simply, is there a possibility of a more permanent position after the CF is over? Is that something like, can I work here? That's not what we're asking. We're asking the formal question. You might not get a direct answer. You might not get like, yeah, we'll hire you right after. Of course, a lot of that is gonna be based off of a lot of different things, but also your performance. Number 5 is probably my favorite one outside of number 1. Number 5 is my favorite one because it is so important. It is so important. Let me tell you guys something. A lot of you asked about, okay, let me do the question first. I'll do the question first. What does a typical day look like? What is the caseload like? So it's a two-part. And I could just have 6 or 7 questions, but that's not a cute title. What a typical day in my shoes look like? What time do I get here? Who do I see first? How many patients do I have? How many students are on my caseload? Don't walk into no positions where it's just a crazy number, where they ain't got no organization, where they just not together. Don't do it, sis. Which leads me to my next point. You need to make sure that you are in a position, in the field, in the setting that you really want to be in. I know that some settings are more difficult to get into than others. Like, almost anybody can get into a school, right? But a hospital might be a little different. But just make sure that whatever you're taking on, whatever you're stepping into, is something that you can realistically handle, right? Because you don't want to go into something, agreeing to it, accepting the position, and not performing well. I really hope this was helpful for you guys. Make sure you comment below and let me know if you have any further questions or if you have any other suggestions for videos that you would like to see. Make sure that you guys are staying encouraged. Make sure that you're staying motivated and happy and thankful and safe. You should be in the house. You should be in the house. If you ain't gotta go get groceries, you should be in the house. You don't even need gas because you ain't going nowhere. Make sure you guys are definitely staying safe and wash your hands, okay? Which we should be doing already. Shouldn't be new. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, darling.